Sovereign here. My very first YouTube channel video. This is gonna be an important video to me, and I hope, you know, they say, you know, first impression is always the most important. Well, I hope you guys get a good impression. I won't be cutting out red lights or anything. We're just gonna run right through. Believe it or not, I've practiced this particular subject. You're like, practice? Yeah, I talk to myself even when there isn't a mic plugged in. But what I want to talk about today is what you guys can be expecting from me, and what's going to be going on this week. And this week is going to be my week of me. I'm going to be introducing myself, my bike, my beliefs, etc. All that fun stuff. So this is the very first video, and what I want to talk about is why it is I chose motovlogging, and why there's a camera strapped to my head, and why I talk to myself. And this is going to be a somewhat long video, and I apologize for that. In the future, I'll try and keep them a little bit shorter. But after a week of trying to figure out a mic that works and finally finding a position, I'm just going to talk and get it all out. So, why motovlogging? Why make that decision? And it's an important one. I think the reasons that you start motovlogging are kind of what helps propel you through the time that you do motovlog. I know some guys, they start out and a lot of people like them and they have fun, and then they stop, whether it's because something happened in their life. Maybe they had a kid, maybe they had a job change, something happened in their life. I mean, you know, there's all sorts of reasons that people can stop, but, you know, why do you start in the first place? And for me, it's kind of all starts from one person in particular. So this video is going to be a tribute to him. I'm sure everyone that comes across this video is going to be very familiar with him. So the guy that inspired me to be sitting where I am today is Chase on Two Wheels, and the C2 Dub family, and what a support group that they are without realizing it. And we'll get into a little bit of that. But why is it that he inspired me? What caused me to begin that in the first place? And in order for you to understand that, you have to have a little bit of a backstory. When I was 13, 14 years old, I lived on Fort Knox with my folks and my brothers. And one of the days we were out playing, we had just gotten some brand new BB guns. We were out in the yard shooting at birds, signs, you know, random stuff like the little kids do. Weren't wearing any eye protection, or being real safe at all to begin with. I mean, we were just shooting at stuff. And when it started to rain, me and my brother decided, hey, we're gonna go in and call it a day. And something happened. Neither of us quite remembers exactly what took place. What I do remember is we were talking as we were walking back home, and we were literally just right out the front door, right in front of the house, and I turned around and said something to him, and next thing I know, his gun went off, and I got hit in the left eye. And I'll go into the process in another video of what all happened, but basically I ended up with a prosthetic left eye, which is what I have now. And it's just this concave disc that's got an eye painted onto it, basically. And that's what I have in my noggin. And so a lot of fun with that. And be entirely honest, it's been a mix. It's been a blessing and a bit of a curse in my life, but I try to see it more positively. But on to what Chase basically did is he kind of inspired me to pursue motorcycles in general. I've always been kind of a car guy. I like fast cars. I liked, you know, all that crazy stuff, Fast and Furious movies, etc. And so after graduating high school, I moved to Arizona with my parents, and I was going to go to college out there and all the fun stuff involved with that. Unfortunately, Arizona kind of, you know, I wanted to get out on my own, and one of the things I started doing was, you know, researching and, you know, looking at some of the things I could do with my life. And I came across, I don't know exactly what it is I was looking at, but I came across a Chase video on YouTube. And I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. What's this? And that was back in like 2011, I think. And I watched his videos, and they were just, it was crazy. It was crazy. And I was like, this is entertaining. It's cool. It's almost like you get to watch the world through his eyes, go on every ride with him, and you see all these things. And he was passionate about it. And, you know, it's impressive to find someone who cares so much about something is impressive these days. At least to me it is, in my opinion. It's impressive. And after watching his videos for a while, I was like, I went to my parents and like, I'm gonna get a bike, you know, that's so cool. It's what I want to do. And needless to say, my parents were both like, you've got to be kidding me. Are you crazy? You're lucky we let you drive to begin with. And it sounds a little harsh, but I mean, they were plenty encouraging when it came to getting my actual license. So, but no, they were like, you're nuts, boy. You're crazy. You're gonna get yourself hurt, killed, something like that. And I'm not one to. At that time, I was not one to necessarily argue. I was just like, you know what? It'll be fine. When the time comes, I've got a job. I'll just work. I'll save up the money. I'll get a license, and by the time I kind of had that all formulated and I was starting to save up money, my parents were like, well, things aren't working out for us here. And my dad was in the military, so I was used to moving around. But now that I was kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say an adult, but I was out of high school, I was still learning. And the job that I had just gotten out of high school was working at a deli in a marketplace. And it was like, there's no way I can get an apartment and pay the bills like that. And I knew enough to know that that wasn't viable, which is fine. But basically that forced me to move with my parents, which, now that I know what's come of it, you know, it was honestly the best decision I've ever made, was sticking it out and heading with them. Because now I'm married, I'm out on my own, I have a wonderful relationship with my wife. There's some family up here, and now obviously there's my wife's family, so it turned out to be good in the end. But we moved to Wisconsin, I think January 2012, and I kept with his videos. It messed up my plan a little bit, but I got into the rhythm, found another job, tried saving for it. But every time I would talk to him and be like, hey, you know, this is something I want to do. I want to get a motorcycle. It's something important to me. And they're like, we're not going to let you do that. And I was dealing with some really harsh things that came out of the whole moving process in general, some broken relationships and some other just really hard-hitting problems, which at my age is kind of stupid, but you know, that happens, it's life. And so I kept watching his videos, and they were super inspiring. And he was just, he would always have a video every now and then, and people were asking about, well, you know, what if my parents say this? You know, what if my family believes this? Or, and it always just came in, he's like, it's going to be a decision you have to make for yourself. And, you know, I honestly honestly, at this point, believe that 100%. So, you know, I bided my time. I ended up just going out and getting my permit. I just read the booklet, memorized it, and went and took the test. Passed that really easy. And I was like, well, you know, I got my permit now. You know, there's not much stopping me. I looked at bikes, kind of. Unfortunately, that summer rolled around really quickly. I worked a lot, and winter was around. And realistically, here in Wisconsin, you can't do anything during the winter. It is cold, icy, wet, snowy, just horrible in general. So I bided my time, and I waited, and it kind of came out nicely. But I ended up meeting my now wife, and the whole dating process, and that kind of drained my account. But back when we were was still dating, I spoke to her about it, and I was like, you know, I'm interested in motorcycles. What's your opinion on that? And her dad rides. Now, he doesn't just ride motorcycle. He does snowmobiles, jet skis. He's, you know, all that kind of stuff. But he's a very stern man, and he doesn't believe. He has strong beliefs. So kind of, he imprinted on her that, you know, motorcycles aren't the safest thing in the world. Even though he does that. And so what ended up happening is she had the opinion, and she also kind of, you know, realized because I am at a bit of a disadvantage. And she's like, well, I don't think it's safe. And if we're going to have a relationship, I want you to be safe. I don't want to have to be worried about you. And I don't want to have to be scared of my, you know, husband's going to lose his life. At the time we were dating, but now she still says the same thing. It's just I ride now, so she's like, you need to ride careful. But this went on for a couple years. Obviously, with getting a ring and proposing and stuff like that, you can't just drop money on a motorcycle like that, and especially being my first motorcycle. So, well, I convinced everyone that, well, at least let me take the course. Let me get my full license, and we'll see what goes from there. And I love the course. And honestly, after the course, because right around the time that I took the course, maybe a year after I met her, geez, stay on your side of the road. And about a year after I met her, my brother, I don't want to say sickness, but the feeling of wanting a motorcycle passed on, and he bought one. He just straight up took cash and paid a guy for a 2001 Katana 600. And it was a fun little bike. I will have to admit that. It was a fun little bike. And to be entirely honest, I rode it. And I rode it, and we would literally, I had a helmet because of the class, so we would literally just trade the helmet and ride together. Not together, but, you know, we'd ride the same bike. And I took the course, and I passed with flying colors. It was easy. And the passion was there. But after that, the relationship with my now wife got serious, and I'm the kind of guy that if it gets serious, then I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to get the ring. I'm going to get a good ring. You know, I'm going to get a nice ring, and that's what the plan was. I know some difficulties, but there's always difficulties in picking out the right ring. And if any of you guys are going through that right now, I'm not envious of the fact that you're going through that, because it's so hard, such a hard thing to do. But so, you know, life focused. But I wanted a motorcycle, and what made things kind of worse is during that winter and the following summer, I worked for Harley Davidson, which made a pretty profound opinion in me. For a while, I don't want to say die-hard Harley, but I was like, you know what, I want my bike to be a Harley. But I later came to realize that was kind of foolish of me. for a couple of reasons, which I'm not really going to get into. But so my brother actually ended up, we both worked for Harley, and he ended up trading in his Katana and getting a 2013 Super Glide, which the bike is cool, but that's just, it's kind of crazy what he did and what he had to go through just to get that bike. Like he had to put a very substantial amount of money down just to get a bike, and he's 2 years younger than me, and they just, banks didn't want to have none of it, and it's a difficult process for him to get a Harley. But one of his friends rode Harley, like rode Harley. He was diehard Harley and nothing but Harley. So I switched, and after that I just didn't ride anymore. He was very protective over his bike when he finally did get it, and I wasn't about to, you know, mess with my brother just so I could get on a bike. So it kind of went to a dormant period, and during that time my family was trying to beat it out of me, if I'm going to be entirely honest. Not so much my wife, but my family was like, you know what, a bike isn't for you. It's not the right decision. You got to have fun for one summer. You're done. I didn't agree with that, obviously, so I still pursued it, and I got married January 4th of this year. Afterwards, my wife, she's become more willing to understand what it means to me, and she understands that it's incredibly important to me. And so she got lenient enough and allowed me to get one. And my family still has issues with it, in particular my mother, but this whole time, and I mean this whole time, and I know this is a really long story, but this whole time I watched Chase, and I watched Motonicity, and I watched Yummy and Downshift, Jake the Garden Snake, and I watched them progress. I watched the community progress into something that's just so amazing that I was like, you know, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to have the opportunity to do that, you know. And I have to say, Chase, if you ever watch this video, man, I'm beyond appreciative of all the help you've given me. It means so much, man. The whole community in general, all you guys are just amazing. The support, and no, now it's no longer I have one eye and I ride a bike. It's I ride a bike, and that means the world to me. And I'd like to thank all the guys who just kind of helped with their videos and just their positivity that they kept in their lives. So this video is a tribute to Chase, and I'd just like to thank you, man, for all the things you've done. And we're here at the end, and basically, you know, I'll leave a thing in the description for his channel. I encourage anyone who doesn't know of him to check him out. And realistically, you should just go back and watch all his videos. He has some older channels too. You should check it out. He's just the coolest guy in the whole world, and I really appreciate the help that he gave without realizing it. So it was fun talking with you guys. Just a quick note, for this first week that I'm uploading videos, I'm going to try and upload a video literally every single day, and do a week of straight videos, each with a different topic, and just introducing myself. So this first video goes out to Chase on 2 Wheels, and I'll talk to you guys later.